sure, were you in Brian's general session yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah. It will be supported through Symphony 3.3, which means that up to that release and through that release, they will still support problems that arise with it. But after that release, and we're on that release, if we have problems with the Java client that the WYLD office can't correct, then we would have to have you go to the Java client, because we wouldn't be able to call CERC and say, hey, we have this CERC, there's C client problem. They'd say, too bad, because at that point they wouldn't support it, and they aren't going to, after 3.3, send out enhancements for it.
So what do we need to do to switch over to Java client?
There's TechNote, it's number 73.
Okay.
That will walk you through the steps of FTP,
Okay.
the software back to your workstation. And I've heard from somebody that they don't think the meeting this morning will last a full hour. So I need to find out consensus from all of you. What do you want to do? Because I know that some of you have written with people. The woman I talked to this morning is the director, and she's kind of chomping at the bit to leave as soon as they're done. So do you want to go the full 2 hours? Do you want to go an hour and a half and not take a break? Do you want me to shut up and you can leave now? Give me a feel for what we want to do. My plan is to follow pretty much what I did yesterday and spend most of the time on the Java client, walking us through various parts of it, showing you some of the new features of it, because we will be on the test server, and right now we have 3.2 loaded on the test server. So even if you are using the Java client, you're going to see some new features. And then the last part of it, if we were to take a break and did the final 40 minutes or so, it would be discussing a handout I have for you, which I'll give to you anyway. But that is primarily focused on the problems that we're having with Baker and Taylor on order records. So
could we go for like an hour and then take a break, see what's happening downstairs,
Okay.
and then decide if we're going to come back?
yeah. Okay, then let's go ahead and get started, since we don't have a lot of time, probably. The screen you're looking at right now is probably the one you're most familiar with. This is the C client. And I apologize for having us work in the dark, but you can't see the screen if we have lights on. So you can barely see it as it is. Okay. Here is the Java client. And this is a version of the Java client that you're not always going to see unless you choose to see it. But as you can see, it's very similar to what you have over here. So if you like this configuration, one of the things I like about it is because I still get my little window here, I can bring another one down. I'm in control of piling them and bringing them forward and doing whatever I want to with them. And I can bring another one down or do something else. And I can size these more easily than I can in the other view. If I want this window full size, I can make it full size. If I want it to be itty-bitty, I can do that too. And it'll retain that configuration, whatever I've given it. The view you're probably used to seeing, if you've looked at this at all, is this one with different colors. This one works too, but when you bring down a search window, you don't really have, when you bring down a search window, search window, it's thinking, there it is. Once you bring this down, it's really hard to size this window and to get it to stay. So if you don't want this full screen thing. And you can tile these, so you can have one on top of the other, but it's hard to get all of them to realize that you've got screens under it unless you do tile them. And we'll talk about that in a second. What I do want to do is go through the elements up here at the top, and we'll talk about those a little bit. I can tell right now I'm on the test server. Mark has set this up so that if we're all running things simultaneously, and we always are, I've got test server open, I've got various versions.
How do we find the test server?
The test server, I'll look at down here at session information, and this is how you get to it. Actually, let me show you the logon screen. We'll go back to this one. It'll be your logon, like you're used to. and the IP address is the same except the last digit is a 4. So if you go into your logon, sorry, I'm fumbling around here. When you first go into when you log on, you get the little box where you put your ID and your password. Before you get to that point, you get a configuration screen, and it has 159.3.238.206.2. Change the 2 to a 4, and that gets you directly to the test server.
Okay.
And that's what this is, 159.238.206.4.
And how do you choose, like, if you want the other version, the first one you were showing us that we're working on?
I'm getting to that.
I'm sorry, Trish, change the and was it?
Change this number, it would be a 2 if I were on the production server, and I'm on the test server, so this is a 4. The rest of the number's the same. So after the final period, just change the 2 to a 4. Okay. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this one. It's pretty much what you already see in the C client. Editing is cool because now you can copy and paste all over the place. So as an example, if you have a record on screen in WYLD that is really bad and you want to overlay it with a better record from OCLC, if there's like an ISBN or an LC number or even the author and title on the record in WYLD, you can copy and paste those elements into your search in OCLC. And you don't have to write down the ISBN and then type it back in. You can just copy and paste. Very cool. Final. Wizards here, it basically is just repeating what you're actually seeing here. You can look at all wizards, or you can look at just the wizards that you currently have up, or your toolbars, and that's actually referring to what's over here. Modules, again, it describes what you're seeing in the purple in the background, right here. Preferences. This is your configuration, and this is where that logon is. This is what you actually see when you first log on to the C client as well. So this is where you would change that number. Okay. Peripherals, this is where you can set up stuff for your receipt printer, your barcode configuration for your scanner. Desktop, this is a good part because this has all sorts of cool stuff in it. This is where you can set your fonts. You can use the system defaults, which I'm not at the moment. Right now I've set mine to a specific customized. You can change what it looks like. And we'll do a couple of those just so you can see. There you go. And let's make it, I'll do it. And watch what happens to your screen. This change happens immediately, or close to immediately. It wasn't quite so immediately yesterday. I'm going to leave the window text. The menu text that I've just changed would change some of these elements up here. Okay, not instantly, but that's pretty close. Soon.
There's a latency issue.
There is. I don't necessarily suggest this one to use because it's pretty hard to read, but I wanted you to see the variation and what part of the screen is affected. If you actually happen to pick one that makes it impossible for you to read, kind of like this one is, and you can't figure out, that wasn't it. See, it's very difficult to figure out where you need to go. Just go back to use system defaults, and that will restore to something you can actually read. So there you go. This is what it came with in the system. Let's do another one just so you can see what happens when you change this bottom one. Yesterday I picked something that didn't really make that much difference, so it wasn't a big deal. Well, let's do this old English one again. And now you'll see what part of that changes. Okay. Now if you were to actually conduct a search in it. See, this is impossible to read, but your bib record will come back that way. And so